Have you ever wondered, why is it that some people remain radiant, healthy, and deeply connected with others well into their 70s and 80s, while others slowly slip into loneliness and weakness and seem to age too quickly? Is it just genetics? Is it just luck? The difference often lies in the smallest habits, quiet patterns that slowly erode our health, spirit, and relationships without us even noticing. And the heartbreaking truth is, by the time we notice them, it might already be too late. But here's the good news. You can still change, starting today. If you're ready to join the journey of aging healthfully, joyfully, and freely, don't forget to hit like and subscribe so you won't miss any of our valuable lessons. Let me tell you a story about Julie. At 68, Julie was full of life. She cared for a small garden behind her house, went out with friends, and never missed a family gathering. Everyone said, "Julie is so lucky. She's aging in reverse." But then, in just a few short years, something changed. Her once bright eyes grew dull. Her steps slowed. Her cherished get-togethers faded, then stopped. Not because she was seriously ill, not because of some enormous tragedy, but because of invisible habits, the kind that seem harmless, that quietly took over her life. Here's the truth. No one warned us about these mistakes. They're not printed on warning labels. Doctors rarely bring them up during checkups. And, well, society calls them just part of getting old. But in reality, they're not normal at all. And if we don't recognize and shift them in time, they'll quietly steal our health, our freedom, and the joy of our most precious years. Now here's the best part. It's never too late to begin. Whether you're 60, 70, or 80, your body and mind still have the power to adapt, heal, and rise again. With just a few small changes each day, you can reclaim your vitality, your independence, and the sweet relationships you so deeply deserve. Imagine this. You wake up one morning feeling light, refreshed, and excited for the day ahead. That future isn't far away. In fact, you, right here, right now, can choose to make it real. In today's journey, we'll explore 12 silent habits that accelerate aging, habits most older adults fall into yet rarely notice. You may see yourself in some of these stories. You may be surprised by how deeply they hit home. But more importantly, you'll be given tools to identify harmful habits early, rebuild both physical and emotional well-being, and step into this stage of life with more freedom, strength, and fulfillment than ever before. Are you ready? If you're willing to walk this path with us toward vibrant, empowered aging, leave a comment below saying, "I'm ready." Chapter 1. Negative thinking, the silent seed that ages the soul. Have you ever wondered, why do some people in their 70s or 80s still radiate energy and joy, while others at the same age seem to carry the world's weight on their shoulders? We often think aging comes from wrinkles or graying hair, but few realize this. The way we think each day quietly deepens the lines on our faces more than time ever could. Richard, 72, was once a man full of enthusiasm, but after retiring day by day, life began to feel dull and meaningless to him. "Every morning I woke up," he said, "I just saw another long, dragging day ahead." He started staying home, barely going out. He'd spend hours complaining about rising prices, the changing world, and declining health. At first, his complaints were just minor habits, but over time, Richard's mind got caught in a spiral of negativity. He became irritated by everything, lonely, and disconnected from his kids and old friends. The saddest part, no one intentionally pulled away from him. Richard's heavy energy made people slowly keep their distance, even if they still loved him. Negative thinking works like tiny cracks in the glass of life. At first, you don't notice, but over time, those cracks spread, suffocating your joy and blurring the beauty still around you. According to research from the Mayo Clinic, people who maintain a negative outlook long-term face increased risks of heart disease, high blood pressure, a weakened immune system, and even shortened lifespan. Could you be experiencing this silent illness? Do you often start conversations with a complaint? Do you feel there's nothing worth hoping for anymore? Do minor annoyances easily trigger your anger? Do you constantly dwell on the past and blame the present? If you see yourself in any of these signs, take a breath. There is still so much opportunity to shift. 1. Start with 3 things you're grateful for each day. Find 3 small things to thank life, even on the worst days. A warm cup of tea, soft morning sunlight, or a short call from a loved one. 2. Limit your complaint time. Allow yourself to vent, but only for 5 minutes. Then, gently redirect your focus towards something positive. 3. Choose uplifting words. Instead of saying, "I'm old, I can't do anything," try, "I'm learning how to live more gently and wisely daily." After a mild heart failure scare, Richard decided it was time for a change. He began journaling each morning, writing down things that made him smile. Instead of grumbling about prices, he practiced gratitude for still being able to buy what he needed. Instead of resenting his children's busy lives, he sent them short, loving messages. And in just 3 months, things began to change. His children visited more often. Old friends started reaching out again. More importantly, Richard felt younger in his body and heart. If you're reading this far, take a few seconds to reflect. What kind of thoughts did I plant in my life today? In the comments below, share one small thing you're grateful for today. And if you'd like to continue this joyful, healthy, and free aging journey, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. You are not alone on this journey. Chapter 2. Neglecting Personal Hygiene, How the Body Quietly Ages. Marjorie, 74, used to be a well-groomed woman, meticulous down to every strand of hair whenever she went out. But after her husband passed away, she began to let things go. "Who's going to look at me now anyway?" she once said, when her daughter gently suggested a shorter haircut to keep cool. At first, it was just wearing her pajamas all day. Then came skipping showers. Eventually, brushing her teeth became a whenever I remember thing. But the body doesn't forget. And it doesn't forgive either. Neglecting personal hygiene doesn't just affect how you look. It weakens the skin, increases the risk of infections, and opens the door to age-related health issues. Urinary tract infections, fungal skin conditions, and even problems with memory and mood. According to a 2023 study by Johns Hopkins University, older adults who maintained regular hygiene routines had a 32% lower risk of cognitive decline than those who neglected daily self-care. Many seniors don't even realize they're slowly turning away from themselves. "Whether I shower or not, no one will notice anyway." It's a sentence often heard from those living alone after 60. But the truth is, whenever we give up caring for ourselves, we send a message to our body. You're no longer important. And the body responds with fatigue, with a weakening immune system, with the quiet, creeping signs of aging we don't even notice. Edgar, 69, lost his sense of motivation after retiring. "I wore the same clothes all week. Didn't feel like stepping outside," he recalled. Then, one day, his young granddaughter did something simple, yet filled with love. She placed a mint-scented towel on his bed with a scribbled note. "Grandpa, shower time. Let's smell nice." That was it. Edgar smiled and walked into the bathroom. From that day on, he began showering every morning, shaving weekly, and applying lotion every night. I felt alive again, not just clean, but cleansed in my spirit. Caring for your hygiene is a way to honor your body, even if no one else sees it. Here are a few small yet powerful habits for aging with dignity. A quick warm shower each day. 5 minutes is enough. Put on clean clothes every morning, even if you're staying home. Brush your hair and teeth. Wash your face. Treat it like saying good morning to yourself. Use a warm towel or some essential oil to create a relaxing moment. The body responds positively to these small acts of kindness. It recovers, it strengthens, and you start to feel more worth living every day. Don't let hygiene become a chore. Turn it into a ritual of self-care. Because every time you wash your skin, smooth your hair, or spritz a light perfume, you're sending your body a loving message. I still care about you. We still have a long journey ahead. Dear friend, how did you care for yourself today? Leave a comment and share your favorite morning ritual, because, who knows, it might inspire someone else who needs a reason to begin again. And if this message brought you value, don't forget to like, share with someone you love, and subscribe to the channel so we can continue walking this journey of health, dignity, and self-respect in our golden years. Together. Chapter 3. Stubbornness to change. A door half closed to the world. None of us like to think of ourselves as stubborn. Especially after living through decades of change, witnessing countless shifts, and weathering life's many storms, we believe we've already grown used to change. But there's a particular kind of change that many of us unconsciously resist. The subtle evolution of daily life, of technology, of how the world now connects and communicates. The story of Leonard, a 78-year-old former mechanical engineer, is a perfect example. Leonard was a direct, disciplined man who once oversaw production lines respected by thousands. Yet now, he finds himself confused by his grandson's smartphone. Whenever someone suggests trying out a messaging app or joining a video call, he waves it off. "I don't need all that. If the kids want to talk to me, they can call. That's enough." The problem is, they stopped calling. His grandkids began sending photos through group chats, sharing news via family message threads, wishing a happy birthday on social media. But Leonard wasn't there. He felt left out, yet didn't realize he was the one quietly stepping away from the world of those he loved. This refusal to embrace the new might seem like a simple inconvenience, but over time, it becomes an invisible wall, one we build ourselves that separates us from the connection. And perhaps the saddest part, we are the ones who shut the door. Change is never easy, especially past 60, when everything seems to require a little more patience. But when we refuse to adapt, when we say, "I don't need that," or "I'm too old to learn," we slowly begin to pull ourselves away from the flow of life. Change doesn't have to be big. Even something as small as letting your grandchild show you how to video call using Zalo, or learning how to send a photo via text, can become a doorway to renewed connection. And often, these small changes bring surprisingly big gifts, like Dorothy, 73, who finally agreed to try the iPad her daughter gave her. She'd said, "My eyesight's too weak for paper books." But now she reads daily on her tablet and even tracks her health through wellness apps. She calls it feeling like I'm still growing. Don't let stubbornness rob you of new joys. Don't miss out on loving messages, precious photos, or bright moments from a simple video call just because you don't know how to open an app. Yes, technology can feel intimidating, but it can also, if you let it, become a powerful bridge across generations. So ask yourself, how long has it been since you last tried something new? How often do you say no to learning simply because you think, I'm too old for that? If you're still watching this video, maybe that's the universe gently nudging you. It's time to open the door just a little. Let some new light in. If you've ever turned down something new and later regretted it, please share your story in the comments. Your words might inspire someone else to take that first step today. And if you found this chapter helpful, click the like button or send it to someone you love. As a gentle reminder, we may grow old, but we never stop growing. Chapter 4: Hoarding and Clutter. The silent burdens that weigh down old age. Mildred, 76, had always been a woman of memories. In her small home in the suburbs of Minnesota, every item neatly placed on a shelf held a story. A letter from the days her husband was stationed in Europe, an old dress she wore on their very first date, a chipped teapot once used for quiet Sunday mornings. To her, each object was a piece of her life, something she simply couldn't throw away. But as the years passed, those pieces began to stack up. They were no longer tender memories, but burdens. The hallway from her bedroom to the kitchen grew narrower with boxes. The wardrobe could no longer shut, packed with faded clothes. And perhaps the most heartbreaking part, her daughter, Emily, stopped bringing the grandkids over. "They don't have room to run around, Mom." She said it gently, but the words shattered something inside Mildred. Holding on to things isn't wrong, but holding on to too many, especially things we no longer use, is when we unknowingly cling to the unnecessary weight of the past. According to senior mental health experts, hoarding can lead to emotional heaviness, social isolation, and even mild anxiety or depression. It's not just about aesthetics or tidiness. It's a psychological sign that deserves compassion and attention. Mildred used to think, what if I need this one day? But years went by. The broken fan still sat in the attic. Stacks of yellowed newspapers gathered dust under the table. And what she truly needed was space to breathe, space to rest. A study by the American Geriatrics Institute revealed older adults who maintain a cleaner, more minimal living space experience 35% lower rates of depression compared to those showing signs of hoarding. An open space allows the brain to exhale, process stress better, and feel greater ease and control. So how do you begin to let go? You don't have to clean out your house in a single day. Mildred started with just one drawer. Each day she chose 3 items. She'd ask herself, does this help me live better today? If the answer was no, she let it go, with a smile as if saying thank you for the memories. After 3 months, her living room lit up. The old curtains were replaced with soft cream ones. The cluttered walls were cleared. Emily began bringing the kids again. And for the first time in years, the sound of children's laughter filled the house. The room felt lighter. So did Mildred's heart. Holding on to the past can be beautiful, but not if it clouds the present. Choose to keep the things that still warm your heart and gently release what only weighs you down. Are you holding on to items that no longer bring you joy? Try starting with one small drawer today. And if this story spoke to you, please share it with someone who might also need space to breathe in their golden years. Click like and subscribe to continue on this journey of living healthy, light, and free after 60. Chapter 5. Impatience, the quiet flame that burns away. Connection. Martin, 76, was once known as a gentle soul, famous in his neighborhood for his calm manner and thoughtful words. But as the years passed, he began to notice he wasn't quite as patient as he used to be. It started with the most minor things. One day, while waiting in line at the supermarket, the young cashier fumbled with the register. Martin sighed and muttered under his breath, "What kind of service is this?" The person behind him turned and glanced over. The young girl blushed and looked down. When Martin got home, he told his wife about it. She looked at him quietly and said, "You never used to be that kind of person." That sentence echoed in his mind all night. As we grow older, time seems to move faster, yet everything else moves slower. Simple tasks become more tedious. Conversations feel frustrating when people take too long to understand. But what many seniors don't realize is that impatience isn't just a natural reaction to aging, it's a double-edged sword that silently cuts the bonds around us. Martin admitted that every time his grandson visited, the slightest mishap, a spilled glass of water, a repeated question, set him off. Once, frustrated by the boy's endless «why?» зрения, он выругался. «Хватит спрашивать так много! Grandpa's tired!» From that day on, his grandson stopped hugging him like before. He played quietly with his mom, occasionally glancing at Martin, then looking away. Martin's heart sank. It felt like he had lost something precious, something not easily regained. Impatience is often a sign of exhaustion, but it's also an invisible way of turning down love. People may think we're annoyed with them, but more often, we're actually upset with ourselves because our bodies aren't as agile, because the world is changing too fast, because we're no longer in control like we used to be. That's when Martin decided to relearn an old lesson. Breathe deeply, count to 3, then respond. When a delivery was late, he thought, he's probably trying his best. No one wants to be late. When his wife accidentally spilled milk on the table, he simply smiled and grabbed a towel without saying a word. And when his grandson asked, "Grandpa, why do old people have white hair?" he replied, "Because we've been through so many amazing things to be here today and listen to your questions." Patience is a small gift, but it brings tremendous change. Most people don't need advice, lectures, or instructions from their elders. Sometimes they genuinely need a kind look, a moment of silent understanding, and the kind of patience that makes them feel respected. Strangely, the more Martin practiced patience, the younger he felt. Not in appearance, but in spirit. And the connections began to return, from his grandson, from the cashier, from neighbors, all soft, all sincere. Old age doesn't have to be a season of grumpiness and frustration. It can be a season of grace and peace, if we are patient enough to slow down and gentle enough to love ourselves and those around us. Have you ever felt impatience pushing you away from your loved ones? Try spending just one day living a little slower, smiling a little more, and listening before reacting. You may find that the connections you miss are waiting to be renewed. If this message resonates, please share your experience in the comments. And if you found this chapter helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss the next healing story. Chapter 6. Talking too much, not listening. When the thread of connection begins to fade, there is a kind of silence that doesn't come from the absence of words, but from the feeling that no one is truly listening. Dorothy, now 74, had always been lively and quick-witted, with a story ready at any moment. Her whole life had been devoted to teaching elementary school, where her voice once served as a guiding light for generations of students. After retiring, she moved closer to her daughter, finding joy in caring for her grandchild and having more time to chat with her family. But something began to change, quietly. Phone calls with her daughter became shorter. Family dinners, once filled with Dorothy's cheerful chatter about everything from her garden to the news, suddenly turned strangely quiet. Then, one evening, while she was in the middle of telling a story, her little grandchild blurted out, "Grandma, you always talk so much. I never get to say anything." That sentence hit Dorothy like a pin to the heart. She had never imagined that her sharing could make others feel tired. To her, it was love, it was care, it was a joy. But she hadn't realized that talking too much, without leaving space for others, can become an invisible form of isolation. Listening is the deepest way to say, "I care about you." After that dinner, Dorothy began to pay closer attention. Instead of starting with her own stories, she asked her granddaughter, "What made you happy today?" When her daughter called, Dorothy listened patiently, without interrupting, without rushing to solve things. She practiced pausing, and in that pause, she discovered something truly precious. When you listen with your heart, people open theirs. Conversations became warmer. Her granddaughter talked about school. Her daughter shared the stress of work. And Dorothy was no longer the one delivering a monologue. She became a companion in the family's shared story. As we grow older, we often forget. We tend to want to teach, to pass on wisdom. But sometimes young people don't need advice. They simply need to be heard. Just like we once longed to be understood. Here are a few gentle practices Dorothy adopted to speak less, listen more. Ask open-ended questions. What was the best part of your day? How did that make you feel? Leave a short silence after someone finishes speaking, instead of immediately jumping in with your experience. Admit when you don't know. Instead of giving uncertain advice, say, "I'm not sure, but I'd love to hear more about your thoughts." The actual connection doesn't come from filling the air with words. It comes from the feeling of being understood. And at age 60, 70, or even 80, learning to truly listen, it can be the beginning of healing relationships that have faded with time. If you've ever felt that you talk more than you listen, maybe today is a good time to try the opposite. Open your heart and simply listen to a loved one, even just for 5 minutes. You may discover that what you receive in return is a moment you'll never forget. Have you ever had a turning point thanks to simply listening? Share your story in the comments. Your moment might inspire someone else to start listening today. Chapter 7. Refusing help. The invisible shield that blocks connection. Some things may seem small, yet quietly steal the joy out of everyday life. One of those things is the habit of refusing help. Margaret, 74, was a strong woman. Her whole life she carried her family on her shoulders without complaining. When her husband passed away early, she didn't remarry. When her children grew up and moved away, she stayed in the old house, keeping her routines the same. Cooking, cleaning, gardening, and doing everything herself. She used to say, "I don't want to bother anyone. I can manage just fine." And she could, until one winter day when Margaret slipped in the backyard. Snow covered everything in white. She lay there for over 15 minutes before gathering the strength to get up. Her phone was left inside the kitchen. Her daughter was away on a work trip. The neighbors didn't know. The chill that crept up her spine wasn't just from the snow. It was from the realization, what if I couldn't get up today? No one would even know I fell. From that moment on, Margaret began to see things differently. Why was it that she, who had helped so many in her life, now felt ashamed when others wanted to help her? Why did she always say, "I'm fine," even when she clearly wasn't? Maybe you've done the same, refused help for fear of being a burden, because of pride, because you wanted to prove you were still capable and independent. But here's the truth. Refusing help doesn't make you stronger. It can make you lonelier. When you don't let others show they care, the connection between you and them fades, bit by bit. A study from the University of Michigan found that older adults who maintain social connections through simple interactions, like receiving help, have higher happiness levels and longer lifespans than those who don't. Why? Because when you let someone help you, you're giving them a precious gift, the feeling of being needed. And you receive something too, the warmth of being cared for and connected. Imagine this. An 80-year-old grandfather needs to take out the trash. His granddaughter stands nearby and asks, "Grandpa, can I help you with that?" If he says, "No, I've got it," next time she might not ask again. But if he smiles and says, "Thank you, sweetie, that means a lot to me." Do you see it? It's not just about the trash. It's a thread of love being tied gently, but surely. Margaret started practicing saying thank you instead of "I'm fine." When her daughter offered to bring over meals, she smiled and accepted. When her grandson asked, "Grandma, can I help clean the windows?" she no longer brushed it off. And from that moment on, her little house felt warmer. Not because of extra heating, but because of the gentle warmth of human connection through simple, loving acts of help. If you're used to saying no, try saying yes, just once. Next time someone says, "Can I carry that for you?" smile and say, "Thank you." If a neighbor asks, "Need help shoveling snow?" don't wave them off, open your heart. Independence doesn't mean rejecting everything. It means knowing when you need support and being willing to say so. That's a real strength. And if you ever feel disheartened, thinking, "I'm a burden," please remember, love isn't one-sided. We all need to give and receive. And you deserve to receive with dignity, grace, and love. If you've ever had a moment like Margaret's, or have found it hard to accept help, consider sharing your story in the comments. Your experience gives someone else the courage to open up today. And if this chapter touched something in you, don't hesitate to share it with a loved one. Because who knows, one small act could rekindle a great connection. Chapter 8. Being Too Frugal, the wall that blocks joy from your life. There's a truth many older adults don't realize. Longevity isn't just about how many years you live, but about the quality of each day. But when you live in constant fear of spending, fear of running out, of what if something happens, you may be trading away precious moments you can never return. Doris, 72, was an accountant. Her whole life she tracked every penny, every dollar with precision. After retiring with enough savings to live comfortably, she stuck to old habits. No eating out, traveling, or shopping unless it was absolutely necessary. Whenever her daughter invited her on a trip, or her grandchild asked for art class money, she'd often reply, "Let's save it, in case I need it for medical bills later." But later doesn't always come. And even if it does, will there still be time to reclaim the joy you've missed? One day, Doris attended a community wellness seminar for seniors. There, she met Clarence, 76, a retired civil engineer who now volunteers by leading travel groups for retirees. He shared stories of mountain hikes, weekend coffee meetups with friends, quiet moments listening to his grandchild play guitar, and even how he wasn't afraid to open his wallet for things that fed the soul, not just the body. Money can't buy youth, but it can help you feel young again, he said, eyes gleaming. And that one sentence, like a tiny spark, slipped through the cold wall Doris had built for years. There's an invisible fear called spending for joy. It causes many older adults to hoard every dime and yet still eat dry toast in the morning, skip buying healthy almond milk for their bones, trim their own hair because salons are too pricey, or turn down a play outing with friends because tickets are too much. It is as if happiness should be measured in dollars, but modern science disagrees. Research from the Harvard Institute on Aging shows that older adults who spend wisely on personal experiences like light travel, art, learning, or community events are 35% less likely to experience depression, show better memory retention, and reported a 40% higher sense of life satisfaction compared to those who save obsessively. Why? Because when you spend money on things that make your heart smile, be it a bouquet of fresh flowers, a theater ticket, or a warm lunch with an old friend, you're sending a message to yourself. I'm worth it. Doris started small. She bought a good pair of walking shoes to stroll her dog. She and her daughter went out for coffee every Sunday at their favorite old cafe. She even signed up for a pottery class she once dreamed of taking as a young woman. And the result? I feel at least 10 years younger, she said. Not because of money, but because she came back to life. When was the last time you gave yourself a simple gift? It doesn't have to be extravagant or expensive, just something that makes life feel worth living. A gentle massage, a ticket to an outdoor concert, a nice meal with someone you love, a short class on gardening, photography, or memoir writing. Mental health and joy are more potent for long-term wellness than any supplement you could buy. Saving is wise. But when saving becomes a weight that holds back connection, enjoyment, and vitality, money controls you instead of vice versa. Try this. Write down 3 things that bring you joy. Then ask yourself, have I allowed myself to enjoy these lately? If the answer is no, today might be the best time to begin. If you've ever felt like being overly frugal made you miss out on something meaningful, share your story in the comments. You might inspire someone else to reclaim their joy today. And if this chapter resonated with you, don't hesitate to share it with someone you love. Because sometimes, one small gesture can reopen the doors to a life more fully lived. Chapter 9. Looking down on the younger generation. The closed door to new bonds. Have you ever sat in your familiar old chair, glanced at your grandchild glued to their phone, and sighed? Kids these days, always staring at those screens. Don't rush to blame yourself if that thought has ever crossed your mind. You're not alone. Mr. Gerald, 74, was once a respected high school teacher, admired by students and colleagues throughout his 30-year career. He was a man of principle, books, and long conversations about literature and politics with friends. But after retirement, life came to a standstill. He kept his routines, reading the paper every morning, tuning into the news at the same hour, and handwriting letters to old friends. But something began to change. He noticed that his grandchildren no longer talked to him like they used to. They avoided sitting close and rarely shared school stories. Gerald felt sad, but didn't understand why. Until one evening, his granddaughter Lily excitedly showed off a TikTok video she had made, one that had gotten over 10,000 views. Without thinking, Gerald muttered, "Kids today, All this nonsense online. It's just so pointless. The room went quiet. Lily didn't say a word. She looked down, then got up and quietly left for her room. Gerald didn't say anything either, but his heart felt heavy. That night, Gerald quietly looked up what TikTok was. He didn't understand much, but one article struck him. It read, "When we judge the next generation through the lens of our own time, we choose not to understand them." That sentence felt like a gentle blow, right to his core. It's easy to see why older adults hold on to old standards, manners, dress codes, speaking styles, and even definitions of value and success. But the world has changed rapidly, and what once felt like proper etiquette now feels outdated, at least through the eyes of the young. And instead of connecting, we accidentally create distance. Science backs this up. Intergenerational connection isn't just a social concept, it's medicine for the aging mind. According to Stanford University research, seniors who maintain close relationships with their grandchildren have a 17% higher happiness and longevity rate than those who experience emotional isolation. On the other hand, frequent criticism or dismissal of younger generations leads to increased negativity, raising risks of mild depression and chronic loneliness. The sad truth is, phrases like, "back in my day," "kids today don't get it," and "you've lost your roots," don't just hurt young people. They slowly turn us into a cold wall inside our own families. Gerald realized that he'd lose something priceless if he didn't change. So he did something that felt small, but was huge. He messaged Lily on Facebook for the first time. "I want to see your TikTok video. Will you teach me how?" A few minutes later, a reply lit up. "Really, Grandpa? I'd love to." That night, they sat together. Lily helped him download TikTok, showed him how to browse, and even recorded a short video together. The room echoed with laughter. It wasn't about TikTok. It was about opening a door to connection. You might ask, how can I stop judging young people? The answer, choose curiosity over criticism. Instead of saying, "This is nonsense," try, "I don't really understand. Could you explain it to me?" Listen with your heart, not just your ears. Remember, every time you choose not to judge, you're saying to the next generation, "I love you, and I want to understand you." And guess what? Keeping an open mind and learning new things doesn't just build bridges with your family. It literally protects your brain. According to the Neurobiology of Aging Journal, older adults who engage in intergenerational conversations and new social activities are better at preserving cognitive function and are at lower risk for dementia compared to those who stay withdrawn. These days, Gerald is the coolest grandpa in Lily's eyes. He knows how to use apps, understands memes, and listens without rushing to correct. He still wears his classic suits and reads the paper, but instead of seeing technology as the enemy, he now sees it as a bridge. You don't need to be on TikTok. You don't need to play video games. But you can. Ask your grandchild what book they're reading. Listen to your child talk about a job you don't fully understand. Smile at things you find odd instead of dismissing them. Nod and empathize with today's challenges instead of saying, "That's just nonsense." Because when you open your heart, you'll see that differences aren't scary. They're where love begins. If this chapter helped you reflect on yourself, leave a comment and share your thoughts. Who knows, your words might gently reach someone else's heart and help them reopen a door they once closed. Chapter 10. Holding on to resentment. The invisible weight that eats away at the soul. There's a burden no one can see with the naked eye, It makes no sound, leaves no marks on the skin. And yet, it can be so heavy that it wears down your entire soul. That burden is unresolved resentment. Do you remember the last time you were truly angry with someone? Maybe it was a friend who betrayed your trust, a family member who deeply hurt you, or it's a careless comment that stayed in your heart for far too long. And then, out of habit, you chose to hold on to it, not because you didn't want to forgive, but because you felt you weren't ready. But the truth is that the longer you hold on to it, the larger it grows, like weeds taking root in the heart, quietly stealing the sunlight and nourishment from your joy. Eleanor, 76, was a woman who had spent her life devoted to family. But for more than 10 years, she hadn't spoken to her younger sister. All because of a slight misunderstanding over their parents' inheritance. Every time someone mentioned it, her eyes darkened. Her smile disappeared. No one dared bring it up again. Then, one day, after a mild heart attack, Eleanor found herself alone in a hospital recovery room. She lay there, reflecting on her life, on how much she had loved, how much she had given. And one thought echoed like a soft, awakening bell. If only I had forgiven her sooner. Holding on to resentment doesn't make the other person suffer more. It wears you down. Studies by the Mayo Clinic and Harvard have shown that prolonged negative emotions, like anger, bitterness, or grudges, can lead to high blood pressure, heart issues, poor sleep, and a weakened immune system. That means every time you carry that rage, your body silently fights another hidden battle. Feeling right might bring a fleeting sense of power, but when the night falls, what's left? Loneliness, emptiness, and a hollow space inside that no one else can fill because you built the walls around it yourself. After her hospital stay, Eleanor picked up the phone and called her sister. The call lasted only a few minutes, but they both cried. A hug, a sorry, a hand held tight. Sometimes that's all it takes. No explanations are needed. That night, Eleanor slept better than she had in 10 years. If you're hearing these words and someone comes to mind, someone you've been angry with, distant from, or someone who once hurt you deeply, please think first of your own health and peace. Forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting. It means freeing yourself from a weight you've carried for far too long. Don't let the later years of your life, the years meant for peace and healing, become a chain of emotional battles. Forgiveness is a gift you give to yourself. If something here touched your heart, feel free to share it in the comments. Sometimes the moment you speak up, a long-lost connection finds its way back. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, so we can continue this journey of healing, of healthy, gentle, meaningful living in this beautiful chapter of life. Chapter 11. Ignoring your health, the silent cost of neglect. Ruth felt a little dizzy that morning as she got out of bed. Probably just a bad night's sleep, she reassured herself. But then, while preparing her usual cup of tea, her hand trembled slightly. Once again, she brushed it off with a faint smile. Maybe I just haven't eaten yet. Tiny signs like these, momentary dizziness, a dull ache in the shoulder, a nagging headache with no apparent cause. They had been repeating for months, but Ruth told no one. She didn't want to bother the kids, and she certainly didn't want to visit the doctor just to hear the same old thing. You're old, that's just how it is. Then, one afternoon, she collapsed while watering her beloved rose bushes. Her blood pressure had dropped. Her pulse was faint. Her body had been warning her, clearly. But she had ignored it for far too long. Many of us ignore our health like that. Because the early signs seem too small to worry about, or we tell ourselves, I can handle it. It's not that serious yet, or it'll go away on its own. But here's the truth. After age 60, the body doesn't ring alarm bells anymore. It knocks quietly. And if you don't listen, the consequences can strike like a storm. A random bruise you don't remember getting. A heartbeat that feels a little off. Fatigue that lingers for no apparent reason. Don't ignore it. According to research from Harvard Health, many older adults delay medical checkups due to fear, anxiety, or even just being too busy. And this delay leads to much higher rates of late-stage diagnoses, diabetes, high blood pressure, cancer. But here's the good news. You can change this. Mike, 71, ignored his mild chest discomfort for months. Until his wife, Agnes, made an appointment despite his protests. The result? A dangerous arterial blockage was found early. He received timely care, all from a straightforward checkup. The lesson? Taking care of your health isn't a defensive move. It's a proactive choice for a better life. It's not just about living longer. It's about living well. If you feel more tired than usual, struggle with stairs, notice unusual forgetfulness or persistent insomnia, have bruises that won't heal or wounds that linger, get checked, don't wait. Even at 60, 70, or 80 years old, your body deserves to be heard, and you can absolutely take control of your health, not with dramatic changes, but with small steps, routine checkups, balanced meals, gentle movement, and paying close attention to even the most minor shifts in your body. After her hospital stay, Ruth changed completely. She started recording her blood pressure every morning, scheduled doctor visits every 3 months, took gentle walks each evening with a group of local seniors, and to her surprise, she felt more awake than she had in years. Because when you choose to care for yourself daily, you're telling your body, I care about you. I still have so much life left to live. If you've ever put off a checkup, ask yourself, could a doctor's visit today be the priceless gift you'll thank yourself for tomorrow? If you found this chapter valuable, leave a comment below or share it with someone who might need to hear it. One small act could save a life. Chapter 12. Forgetting joy. When you stop choosing happiness. Each day, here's a simple question. When was the last time you laughed out loud, truly, freely, without a care in the world? You probably remember. Back when we were young, we could burst into laughter over anything. A blade of grass, a funny-shaped cloud, or a silly story from a classmate. Joy used to come so easily. It was a natural reflex, no effort needed, no conditions attached. But as the years go by, joy becomes something rare. Not because the world has less to offer, but because we've slowly forgotten how to choose joy for ourselves. Elaine, 74, was once known for her bright spirit, so full of optimism that everyone loved her company. In her younger years, she taught music. Every morning, her piano would fill the small street she lived on with melody and warmth. But then, her husband passed away. Her children grew up and moved away, and the little house grew quiet. The piano still stood there, dust gently settling on each key, as if waiting for those familiar, loving fingers to return. But Elaine stopped playing. She said, "What's the point? Smiling doesn't make me any younger." Then one day, her youngest granddaughter came over. Running through the house, she stopped in front of the piano and asked, "Grandma, can you teach me how to play Twinkle Twinkle?" That small, innocent voice stirred something inside Elaine, like waking from a long sleep. She sat down, pressed one note, then another. And for the first time in many years, she smiled, a real smile, one that came from deep within. You see, joy doesn't disappear. It simply waits for you to choose it again. Many older adults believe happiness needs a reason, that someone else must bring it, that something big must happen first. But that's not true. Joy needs no reason. It's a choice, a decision you make every morning when you open your eyes. Science agrees. Positive emotions reduce inflammation, strengthen the immune system, and slow cognitive aging. A study from the University of California tracked 300 seniors over 6 years. The results? Those who made it a habit to seek out small joys. Whether listening to music, sipping tea, or chatting with neighbors, had a 35% lower risk of depression and memory loss compared to those who didn't. The problem is, when we fall into the routine of everyday life, joy becomes forgotten. Health, finances, and household chores take priority. And without joy, even those priorities begin to feel empty. What's the point of a long life if every day feels dull, repetitive, and joyless? You can start small, a favorite tune in the morning, a perfectly brewed cup of tea, a call to an old friend, opening a dusty family photo album for a trip down memory lane. Just like Harold, the man from the start of this series, once said, "Some days I don't find much to laugh about, but I still try to smile at myself in the mirror, not because I'm happy, but because I don't want to forget that I once could be." You can do the same, right now. No need to wait for anyone, no need for a special occasion. Happiness is a habit, not a reward. So don't let a single day pass without choosing joy. Live with an open heart, grateful for every little moment, and allow yourself to feel joy, like the child you once were, who believed this world was worth loving every single day. If this story stirred something in your heart, please share it with us in the comments below. Who knows, your joy might inspire someone else to find theirs again. Final chapter, 12 habits that quietly shorten your life, and how you can turn it all around. Do you remember? We've just walked together through an emotional, honest, and profoundly human journey. Not to point fingers at past mistakes, but to open a door. A new door, for anyone in their 60s, 70s, or 80s, who still wants to live well, live joyfully, and live with true meaning. Each chapter was a gentle reminder, thoughtful, deep, and more necessary now than ever. Let's look back at what we uncovered. Negative thinking, a quiet seed that ages the soul. Neglecting personal hygiene, a foggy mirror reflecting lost self-respect. Refusing to change, a half-closed door to the outside world. Hoarding and clutter, silent weights that burden old age. Losing patience, a small flame that burns away connection. Talking too much, the unwillingness to truly listen. Rejecting help, an invisible shield blocking love. Being overly frugal, a wall that keeps joy at a distance. Looking down on the young, a bridge of love slowly crumbling. Holding on to grudges, a burden that eats away the spirit. Ignoring health, the hidden cost of denial. Forgetting joy, when you stop choosing happiness each day. And here's the truth, you don't have to struggle with all 12. But if even one or two of them felt familiar, that doesn't mean weakness, it means awareness. Growing older is not the end of the road, it's an invitation. Live beautifully, live mindfully, love yourself more than ever before. And the good news? You can begin today. You don't have to rewrite your whole life. You only need to rewrite one small habit at a time. You don't have to chase youth. You only need to return to your true self, gently, fully, and in your own way. So, if even one part of this video resonated with you, let me know. Leave a comment, not for me, but for yourself. This is a small note to mark a quiet promise you make to your life. If you know someone who might need this video, please share it. It could be your most meaningful gift today. Soft, simple, but powerful. And if you want to keep walking this path with me, toward long life, strong health, and a joyful aging experience, hit subscribe. Turn on the notification bell. Each new video will be a small letter sent straight to your heart. Because living a long life isn't the hard part. Living a long life with freedom, joy, and good health. That's the life we're building together. And you truly deserve it.